We need some new music. I need to go through and find some.
New show music?
Yeah, new show music.
Ooh.
Not for the open. The open that's going to be
a
there
banger.
forever.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're not changing the open, but just some of these.
Okay.
Some of these right here, like this one. Can do some different ones now. That's a good one. That's one of my favorites. That's my favorite right here.
This one?
This one because of the build, and then like right because of the beat drop. These are the ones I only do.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, these are the
this
ones.
This one moves through my soul.
I do these the last half hour.
Special occasions.
Only the last half hour because they get everybody turned up. This is another good one. That's a good out. It's not
I don't
good
love
coming
this
back.
one.
It's good going out.
Makes
I
me
like it
feel a
going
little honky tonky.
Really? Makes
Yeah.
you feel bluesish.
Yeah.
Bopping down. I hear this and think, oh, I'm walking down Bill Street.
I think of a Disneyfied Beale Street.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, very much
Yeah.
so. I like this one. I have no clue because it's too aggressive.
Yeah.
But so say all that to say, going back to the regular music, gonna change some of these out. So enjoy them while you hear them.
Enjoy them while you can.
Yeah. Get those out of here.
I did a different music exercise today.
What is it?
I specifically went to my Ludacris songs
Oh.
and shuffled on my Ludacris songs,
Oh.
of which I have
There's
many.
There's not a Ludacris song
Infinite.
worthy of deleting.
There's not.
There's not.
So the song of the day was How Low.
Can you go?
How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go?
Luda, she goes away.
Face down. Top of your booty, jiggling out your jeans.
Baby, pull your pants up.
I love that song.
I love Ludacris.
So do I.
Like, forget best. If we were doing favorite rappers of all time,
Ludacris is up there for me.
Ludacris would be, certainly Ludacris for me would be top 10. He'd probably be top 5.
Do you have
Just the
so I was trying to
flow.
think, what's your favorite Ludacris song?
I mean, Whole Slap, Fantasy, what's the one with Chris Brown? Oh no, that's not Chris Brown, because that's his song.
We'll do this exercise in Music Friday because he is performing at RiverBeat tonight. I swear if that rain keeps me from doing it. Hey, watch it. Not me. Not me. Okay, CJ. Okay. In a Ludacris singing song kind of way. It's true. What's up, everybody? It is May 2nd. It's a Friday. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, Jalen Brunson put the Knicks into the next round with a hell of a game-winning shot last night. We are getting a Game 7 this weekend with Nuggets Clippers. We will get into the NBA action from last evening. Ling Whitaker will join us as he does every Friday. We'll get his Grizzlies off-season thoughts, go through some of the NBA headlines with him. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend. We'll make our picks, our favorite horse names for the year, and also we'll have some Music Friday. RiverBeat is coming up starting tonight here in Memphis. We'll talk about that. Beyonce's tour is off and running. Katy Perry's tour is off and something, plus what we are listening to going into the weekend. It's a Friday. You know what we say.
How low can you go?
How low can you go?
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 Doors Down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in. I give you permission to wear number 1.
Oh, wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're going to get seated this. So who's going to actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. The price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
For the sunshine, gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you. We made it to the end of the week. 2 NBA games last night. 1 Game 7 was forced. 1 team staved off elimination in the Los Angeles Clippers, forcing the best thing in sports, a Game 7. I love when the staving off gives us a Game 7. One quick note, because we'll go back to Nuggets Clippers. I want to give CJ's favorite series a proper burial because Pistons-Knicks did come to an end last night. Did you know there's going to be 2 Game 7s on Saturday involving Colorado sports teams? Avalanche forced a Game 7 against the Stars, and then Nuggets-Clippers, and they start within a half hour of one another. And I understand that these things are set far in advance and TV schedules cannot be flexed, but it feels like a situation where you should be able to figure out a way to make it a doubleheader where Denver sports fans can watch Nuggets-Clippers and then Avs Stars, or vice versa, whichever way. Anyway, I just felt some kind of way about that.
You are a Denver sports fan, so it's going to be
As we watched the game
you.
last night, Chris was like, oh, God, it's at that time of year where you are really into the Nuggets. And I said, oh, it's easy. I'm into Nikola Jokic. And yes, I am into the Colorado Avalanche, of which I could tell you nothing about the season, but they did force a Game 7.
We talked about hockey a little bit on Odds Couple yesterday, Stanley Cup odds on Odds Couple. Rob brought up the fact that I do believe it was this series where the experts were saying the winner of Stars Avalanche will get to the Stanley Cup and win it all, right? These are supposed to be 2. That's not my pick. My pick is what's going on down in Miami. I love those Florida Panthers.
Of course.
But, yeah, that's what the experts were saying. So
I love the experts.
This Game 7 could be for more than just a first round victory in the playoffs, it could be for the Stanley Cup. If
We're having a very 3-0-3 kind of week on this show. And I will say, after we talked about the horrendous Colorado Rockies, who started the season 4-25, they've won their last 2 games. It's their first winning streak of the season. They beat the San Francisco Giants yesterday. So shout out to the Rockies for not being as in the bottom of the gutter as they were earlier this week. Listen, the Detroit Pistons tried their best, CJ, but they could not stave off elimination. And I would like to pour one out for your favorite series. The Pistons have still not won a home playoff game since 2008. And as a week-long diehard Detroit Pistons fan, I was actually pretty upset watching that game last night. I was pretty sad because I had convinced myself multiple times throughout the game the Pistons really were going to force a Game 7. Like, they go down 15 early in the first half. Malik Beasley hits that 3 at the end of the first half to actually give the Pistons a lead in that game. And then they went down double digits again because they were ice cold to start the third quarter. The Knicks heat up. You're like, all right, the Knicks are going to run away with this. But my God, that Pistons team, just a relentless pursuit of being competitive in this series. And they end up going up 7 because Cade gets going and Tim Hardaway hits a big 3. And then they can't hit anything again. And the Knicks, who had missed 6 straight shots, they start getting going. And needless to say, you get to a point where the game is tied 113-113. And I don't know about you, but you knew who was taking the shot, right? Like, we all knew who was taking the shot for the Knicks because it was the Knicks ball. And earlier this week, Jalen Brunson was awarded the Clutch Player of the Year award in the NBA. And what does he do? Clutch. The big 3. He is such a tremendous closer. The Pistons did all they could do, and the difference is Jalen Brunson. That angle is everything. Asir Thompson flies out of that shot like a damn bird. And Asir Thompson, if you go back one possession before, had played picture-perfect defense on Jalen Brunson. All the good that he did, not entirely taken out, but wiped out in the context of who's going to win that game, because Jalen Brunson is able to get his space, get his 3, and ultimately be the game winner for the New York Knicks. I could watch that ISO angle over and over and over again. It was his 40th point in the game. He had been 3 of 13 in the fourth quarter before that game winner. And you just talk about finding a way. Like, that's what clutch players do. When we talk about just seeing someone and knowing what they are, and he has the stats to back it up, but he takes that shot and you're confident it's going in. That's the feeling that a player like that gives you.
I could spend all day. I could spend an hour and a half just on this series right here. But we got other stuff to talk about, and it's my favorite series. It might not be yours. So I'm not going to.
Nikola Jokic would say, if you like true hoops.
I love that series also. Don't get me. I could do another hour and a half on that.
Again, the basketball has been tremendous this week.
So, Jalen Brunson, incredible shot, incredible closer. Put up 40. That was for 40 points right there. Dropped a 40 piece to eliminate somebody, to step on their neck and get them the hell up out of here. That Knicks team, remarkably tough. Too many times we see the better team, and the Knicks in this series were the better team. With the better team, when faced with, hey, F it, we're not playing the sport, we are fighting, be it football, baseball, basketball, what have you. We're turning this sport into a fight. And we see too often the better team shrink in those moments, right? Now, I'm not going to say all the time, but we see it enough to be like, oh, okay.
It can happen.
It can happen. And you've got player, I think Karl Anthony Towns had some of that in him, whereas, okay, if you get physical, if it's a big game, you can bully Cat off of the court. He'll foul himself out, or he'll be afraid to be in the paint mixing it up. And to their credit, when faced with physicality, they met it and they dished it out. So shout out to the Knicks for doing that. The bad taste in Knicks fans' mouth and from national standpoint, as far as this team not being able to beat good teams, I think for a moment it is gone. Just for this moment, because of what
literally just a moment.
Just a moment because of what they did. One moment because of what they did in this series. I'm telling you, the way the Pistons came back, not just in this game, but in other games also. And the Knicks had to fight and scratch and claw their way to victory. Mm-hmm. The Knicks would be up big. The Pistons would come fighting back. And the Knicks would say, all right, buckle down. Let's go try and get this victory. Never mind the fact that we gave up a big lead. Let's go out there and make the plays necessary. Hart, Bridges, OG, and Cat were tremendous in this series when faced with adversity. And again, too often teams back down from adversity. The Knicks didn't do that. Tip of the cap to them. If this is as bad as Thompson is going to be, holy hell, he's going to literally lock dudes down.
He's literally
going
to
lock these dudes down in next year or 2 years.
Yes.
If he had grown man strength, he wouldn't have got tossed like that by Jalen Brunson. Too often in this series, he was getting tossed around by bigger, older, more physically experienced players. Once he gets that grown man strength and learning lessons like these, the scars that come from this, you're not going to be able to do him that way. And that is terrifying to stop and think about. That dude smells like a defensive player of the year.
Both of them do at times.
Yes.
I saw an interview that crossed my timeline yesterday of a sir talking about Amen when they were kids. And he essentially said that he was nicer than Amen because Amen was the aggressive child and would physically try to hurt me. And I was like, okay, so Amen's the one with a little extra psycho energy, but both are potential future defensive player of the year candidates. Both are having people already ask the question, will these be the greatest siblings that we ever see in the NBA? And people here are quick to say, whoa. The Gasol brothers exist. And we will not erase that history so early. They 3 championships between them. But it is exciting when you see, especially twins. Bring it back. Bring back the twins commercials with the Thompson brothers and Michael B. Jordan times 2. I want more twins to come back. There's a big push, and by a big push I mean on my TikTok algorithm, to bring Mary-Kate and Ashley content back. They've been very clear that they don't want to return to acting. They live their lives, but people want the ability to go back and watch all of the great Mary-Kate and Ashley movies, TV series. I watched an entire episode of a Mary-Kate and Ashley TV series on TikTok earlier this week. I don't know how it happened, but then maybe Tia and Tamara can bury the hatchet and they can come back, and this can just... Yeah, they've been beefing for a little bit. But then all the twins. This is a big moment for twins. But this Pistons team is really, really good. I don't want to... I almost feel like it degrades them to say, that was a free money series for the Pistons. No, they were good enough to beat the Knicks. When you look at how that series panned out, and your point in the Knicks being a team that didn't back down and allow for a lesser team to ultimately upset them in this series, they didn't. They almost did. Outside of that first game where the Knicks won by 11, the Pistons won game 2 by 6. The Knicks won game 3 by 2, game 4 by 1. Pistons win game 5 by 3, and the Knicks win game 6 by 3. That is the closest series of 5 or more games that we have seen in this millennium in the NBA playoffs. The Pistons, they're really good right now, and they're going to be even greater. And to not have Jaden Ivey, to see how Cade Cunningham's game can continue to evolve. I think last night was an indication, he has to get a better jump shot. He has to become a more consistent threat from 3. But he's just getting started. There's so much to be excited for with him.
Right now there is, but we've seen they're ahead of some teams right now. But if dudes don't get their mentals right, if dudes don't go out there and physically get stronger and don't, like you said, improve upon their games, not just Cade, but Thompson as well. Love to see him become a bit more of an offensive threat, right? If Jaden comes back and isn't as healthy as he's supposed to be, or has lost a step or something like that, if Duren doesn't improve on his post game and on his strength and on his physicality and become a bit of a better rim protector, dudes are going to pass them. Teams that they're ahead of right now are going to pass them. Ask the Hawks, ask the Kings, ask the Grizzlies, right? Just ask those teams what it's like being the fun young team in a moment and then watching other teams as they pass you by. So the Pistons are in a really encouraging place right now. They've got a lot of really good pieces. They are a really good mix of young and experienced. The production is coming from both young players and experienced players. It seems like they've got a quality leader in Tobias Harris and then Cade Cunningham, who both of them at times in this series kept their teammates from escalating situations, which very easily could have and should have been escalated. They kept them from doing that with the mindset of, hey, it's not about this particular possession or fighting right now. It's about fighting all the way through to the end of the game and coming out of there with the win. I walked away thoroughly impressed by both of these teams, I'm going to be honest, and lost in the regular season. Because we have preseason storylines and preseason hype, and then the regular season starts, and I sort of forget about all of that. So the Thunder are out there balling out, and the Cavs are out there balling out, and all these different storylines are popping up. I forgot how desperately I wanted to see Knicks v. Celtics in a 7-game series. Right after they got Karl Anthony Towns, like, oh, okay, this is what they're setting up for. They're setting up to be hounding people on the perimeter, and Karl Anthony Towns versus Kristaps, that's going to be what decides this series when it's all said and done. And I get it. This is going to be great. This is the series I'm most excited about in the next round.
Are you sure?
1,000%, yes.
Did you see any of their games in the regular season?
Don't care. Give it to me.
Okay.
Regular season and playoffs are different.
Okay.
Give it to me.
The odds are heavily not in the New York Knicks'
That's fine.
favor in this series, and they lost all 4 games against the Celtics in the regular season. Listen, we got so caught up in the Brunson of it all and just how awesome that game was. It is worth pointing out, after Brunson makes that shot, the Pistons did have a chance.
He's got to hold on to the ball.
Pistons did have a chance. We have had twice this week just horrific fumbles. I will call Gary Trent's from earlier, because people want to call it the Gary Trent moment of last night. Gary Trent's is far worse, because with Gary Trent, the Bucks were up. The Bucks were ahead in that game. With the Pistons last night, they're down 3. So you already have to drop the play. And it was a great play. When it was first developing, I was like, oh God, are we having a Grizzlies situation where they don't get it in? They do. And then Malik Beasley just right off the fingies, right off the digits.
It's been a terrible...
Grab the ball.
A terrible postseason for out-of-bounds plays.
It has been.
Santi had the 5-second call. That was in the postseason, wasn't it? That was, yeah.
It was the play-in.
Postseason.
So postseason.
Postseason,
yes.
And then you had this moment right here. Like, that's... Ugh.
The Gary Trent wasn't a...
Well,
it was technically coming up the court.
Coming up the court. I'll count it as an out-of-bounds.
A game on the line.
Game on the line, out-of-bounds play, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, that's just bad. He's wide open also.
I know.
And that's exactly what you want. How the hell he gets so wide open.
And he's been hot from 3.
Is beyond me.
Yeah.
But hey,
pain.
It happens.
Pain. I really do think the Gary Trent one is worse. If we're comparing the two. If we're elevating one, these two are not exactly the same.
Both of them are things that happen in 7th grade basketball and should not be happening in the NBA. Keep your eye on the ball, catch the ball, and hold it. If you're old boy with the Bucks, hold it, get fouled, make your free throws. And if you're Beasley, catch it and let that
do what you're
MFer
supposed
fly.
to do.
Because you are wide. Nobody is there to contest.
No. The other game last night, Clippers beat the Nuggets 111-105 to force the greatest game in sports, a Game 7. That Intuit Dome is so stupid loud. It is impossible to fall asleep listening to a Clippers home game, at least in the postseason, I'm willing to say now, because I was trying to drift after half and I was going to catch up this morning. And so my eyes are closed. And that Norman Powell dunk in the 3rd quarter that came after the Zubats block, based on how I heard it, you would have thought it was the sickest dunk to ever exist in the sport of basketball, or like the biggest moment to ever happen for a Clippers team. I roll over and I'm like, Chris, what happened? He goes, it was just a Norman Powell dunk. What's the score? Clippers are up like 7. Oh, okay. And then I went back and watched it this morning. I was like, how did it get that loud for that moment?
That was probably the biggest moment in Clippers basketball history.
In history?
It's the Clippers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will not have erasure on the Nick Batum game last night. If anyone was going to cause the largest uproar at Intuit Dome.
I understand Nick Batum.
Oh, don't you dare. Don't downplay the Nick Batum effect.
I'm not getting excited about a 6-5-5 game.
You're not?
What are we? No.
That was the most
what are we doing?
Exemplary 6-point game in NBA playoff history. He had Nikola Jokic in a torture chamber, and that was the big adjustment from the Clippers. And now the Nuggets will have to counter for Game 7. I really did think, I thought Nick Batum was retiring after the Olympics. Like, was that a story I imagined? I think you did imagine. No, I swear there were conversations. And then he was featured in that, the documentary on Netflix from the Olympics too. Anyway, Nick Batum, ultimate connector guy last night. James Harden, when we disrespect him in important playoff games, we must also match when he produces in an important playoff game. He struggled down the stretch. He had 28 points last night, but James Harden in the 4th quarter was not the same as James Harden in the first 3 quarters. The Nuggets almost came back and won that game. Like, they didn't, but they almost did.
Over under 17 points for James Harden, Game 7.
Under.
Okay.
I say that confidently.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
But then at the same time, like over under Russell Westbrook turnovers for the Nuggets in Game 7.
I will put my trust in Russell Westbrook over James Harden any day of the week.
Okay.
1. 2, the roles are completely different.
Yes.
Whereas Russ is more of a role player.
He's coming off you don't need Russell Westbrook to have an excellent game. If the Clippers are going to win, I expect Kawhi and James Harden to be the definitive best two players. And Nick Batum.
Just F Norman Powell and what he did.
Yeah, no, it's Nick
Norman
Batum.
Powell out there with what, 25?
It's about Nick Batum.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Please.
Batum, please give us another 6-point
The necessary
performance.
adjustment to have him start instead of Chris Dunn. Please. Focus on the important things.
Jokic will figure that out.
Yes, I don't
like
doubt
next
that.
game. And
as a coach and as a player.
yeah,
as we've
he's
established.
got it figured out.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Lang Whitaker is going to join us. We'll talk to him about the Grizzlies' offseason. Lang has been one of the most positive voices of the Grind City Media crew in regards to his thoughts on where the Grizzlies are and how they can bounce back next season. We'll get his takes on that, along with some other stories from around the NBA when we come back.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick 6 on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Bain drives. Oh yeah. Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead. Yeah! Jared with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in. I give you permission to wear number 1.
Wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting a NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to RiverBeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
right, it is Friday. That means it is time to catch up with Lang Whitaker in studio with
smell
us.
good today.
Thanks, Lang. Your
Not
hair looks
musty at
nice
all.
today.
Thanks,
Not
yeah.
brushed at all. No hat.
I didn't.
It's an odd situation. Is this off-season, Lang? Hatless?
Yeah, no, I brought a hat. I just forgot to put it on. So
Okay.
I just figured, you know what? I'll go without the hat today.
What's the best thing you've done since the off-season began for the Memphis Grizzlies?
Well, it's only been a week.
It feels like a century.
What did I do? I watched watched a lot of NBA playoffs.
Yep.
I saw Sinners.
Nice.
Had dinner at Echo last night. It's really
I
good.
love Echo.
Yeah. Had a nice little week.
Yeah.
My son's been on class trip, so he's out of town all week.
That's right. They're in New Orleans?
New Orleans, yeah.
What do they do on a class trip in New Orleans?
Well, funny you should ask. They went to the Mardi Gras World where the floats are housed.
Yep.
And then they went to where else? They took the paddle boat out in the river.
Okay. Like a gator tour, a swamp tour.
They went to a swamp tour, but they took the other paddle boat, like in the
Like Pontchartrain?
Gulf of America or whatever it is right there.
Gulf of Mexico, yes.
And then they went. It's Gulf of America.
When I go to a museum, it still says Gulf of Mexico
That's 'cause
on
it's
all
old.
the maps.
It's
so.
changed. We've changed that, Jessica.
Okay, sorry,
forward.
my bad.
They went to a old plantation that is now like an educational trip thing, and they went to the World War II museum, which is huge. I don't know if you've been to that.
I have.
Gary Sinise was there when they were there.
Really?
But none of the kids know who Gary Sinise is because they're not old enough to have seen Forrest Gump. One of the teachers posted a photo. They were having some sort of veteran celebration,
Yeah.
you know.
So Lieutenant Dan came?
Lieutenant Dan was, because he has like a big veteran charity now.
Yeah. He's been really big
Since
in
Forrest
what
Gump
he
and started
learned
doing it,
while
yeah.
doing the prep for Forrest Gump and obviously everything
so-
that came with that. That's cool.
Yeah, sounds like a good
I never
trip.
got to leave. We
We
never
went-
left the city when I...
Of Denver?
I mean, we
Where were
never
you?
left the state, I should say,
Yeah.
of Denver. Like, we did do...
state
Our
of
big
Denver.
thing was called outdoor education,
Yeah.
and so you went on this big camping week-long trip when
Outward
you were
Bound,
in
is that
6th
what it's
grade.
like? Remember that?
I don't know
They
Outward
used to have
Bounds.
that. It was like
Probably similar energy.
It's like where you go, like, you know, rope climbing and
Yeah, ours
yeah.
was like learning archery and learning how to survive in
Archery.
the
That's
woods.
pretty
That's
cool.
what I
It's
just
like the Hunger
remember.
Games.
Yeah, the archery class was really cool. My two things I remember are, well, one, it's your first time away from
Yeah.
home because I wasn't a sleepaway camp kid,
Yeah.
so it's the first time that you're with your friends, boys and girls,
Yeah.
and you're off and you get to pretend like you're like mini adults for the weekend. And it was very bug juice energy for us
Yeah.
because we all grew up on that watching Disney. I remember the archery and I remember eating ants. They were like, everyone had to try to eat an ant.
Ugh.
Yeah,
no, we
that's-
never
that's
did
where
that.
we're
we
at
went
with
to.
that.
I grew up in Atlanta, so we went to Savannah one year.
Okay.
Then we went Philadelphia one year on a bus. We took like trips, you know, all over the place.
Yeah. It is the
good.
Grizzlies off season. And
Yeah.
something that has struck me throughout this week in talking with you and listening on the various Grind City
We
Media
haven't talked that
shows.
much.
I know, but listening to you.
Oh, okay.
We talked after the game.
Yeah.
And we've talked in the office.
I was on RiverBeat.
Exactly.
Wednesday. Yeah.
I think you're the most of all, if we were doing a scale
Yep.
of like least positive about the immediate future of the Grizzlies and most positive, I think you're at the most positive end.
I'm a pretty positive person.
Okay. What brings that out in this situation where you perhaps are leaning in a way where obviously the big quote from Zach Kleiman coming out of exit interviews was "we're not close," but you maybe
Yeah.
think that they're a little closer
Well,
than
I
others.
said this on RiverBeat, a fine subsidiary of
Yes.
Grind City Media. Zach, his other quote was, "We're not a gritty wing away from winning a title or
Yeah.
something like that." And I was like, "Well, you might be a gritty wing away from being the number 2 seed in the West, though."
Yeah.
You know, they were only 4 games behind the Lakers. There's only 4 games between the 2 seed and the 8 seed. And maybe a gritty wing makes you 4 games better. You know, maybe if you don't lose to the Nets twice during the season, you know, there's you could find 4 games in there you should have won. And I think, you know, you're only a player away from being that good. Now, are you a player away from being one of the best teams in the NBA? It depends who the player is. Not, you know, a Dorian Finney-Smith type player away
Right.
from being the best, but you know, it depends who the player is. But I do think generally, and I wrote about it today actually in the Grind City Media newsletter. I hope you all subscribe. I wrote about how the Grizzlies, like most fans are all like, let's blow it up, let's start over. I don't think you really want to do that. I've seen what happens when you start over, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And I feel like if you patience is like the hardest thing for fans to have.
Yeah.
And if the Grizzlies can just stick with it, like, I mean, look at these teams, like the Lakers. go out and get Luka, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're gonna win it all," and they lose in the first round. Yeah, they were 19-14 with Luka. Like it's not like they were incredible. But the teams that are like contending right now, the Thunder, the Celtics, the Cavs, all these teams, they've had those cores there for a while, and they kind of gave them time to gel and figure it out. And it took a little bit of tinkering, sometimes new coach, new things to figure things out. But I feel like just, if you're the Grizzlies, you're not that far.
I did think yesterday was also a reminder of just what the new salary situation around the NBA aprons. And the luxury tax penalties and the second aprons and the reality of that. And it's been a story in Boston all season. It's not like this was something new that came out, but it kind of invaded the NBA consciousness with Shams on the Pat McAfee show yesterday saying that NBA teams are eyeing what will happen in Boston this offseason, and they do have their new ownership group, but the assumption is that they cannot continue to carry the roster as it's constructed based on salary limitations and not wanting to go into the second apron and all of the penalties that come with that. And we're now looking at what happened with the Phoenix Suns, and it feels like a very like a warning tale, a cautionary tale for future NBA teams. And it matters. And I think that's a hard thing for NBA fans. I know it's actually a hard thing for myself. It's not something that I like to think about, the money side of it. That's not my favorite part of following this league. I love watching the playoffs that we've just seen. I love thinking about, imaginary trades that don't have to make sense mathematically or keeping a core together that doesn't have to make sense mathematically. But that does play a role, unfortunately.
Oh, 100%. That's what makes sports not fun.
I agree.
Is salary
math.
caps. Yeah,
I hate the math.
We like sports. I like sports because I'm bad at math.
Right. I'm sitting here because I'm bad at math. I could be a
100%.
coder if I was good at
math or science, so I'm a sports guy. But that's what makes sports not fun is that there are rules. And some of the sports, baseball hasn't had a salary cap for a long time, and that was kind of what made it fun.
Right.
Was if you really want to spend the money, the Yankees would go spend the money. The Dodgers now are doing it. But I think for basketball, it's a much more punitive cap, especially with this new second apron, and you see teams like the Celtics who won a title last year and are kind of on track to be in that conversation again. Turns out you can't have like 4 guys who are like max contract type guys long term. Maybe you can do it for a year or two, but and the Phoenix Suns have figured that out too. But it's really about getting the right guys. Yeah. If you're Phoenix, like they didn't get the right guys. Everybody knew it when they traded for Bradley Beal. You're like, no, this isn't going to work. The Celtics got the right guys, and they're getting the benefits of that, but you can't have it forever.
Well, and sometimes even ones that you're not confident in, like I'll be the first to admit when the Timberwolves trade Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks and get Julius Randle, I'm like, oh, is Julius Randle really going to be the guy that allows Minnesota to take another leap? And honestly, I don't want to overreact to the series against the Lakers because I do think it was just as much a situation of the Lakers not being built to thrive in the playoffs, and I think they definitely carried the Laker namesake to people choosing them to be a legitimate threat this season.
They were the 2 seed, right?
Yes.
So there's some legitimacy in people expecting the Lakers to go
They're
far
a 2
in the
seed with
postseason.
Luka and LeBron. Like there's fairness, but now it's easy to look back and say, was I a little bamboozled by this
Luka,
Lakers
they had
team?
I think it was the 14th offensive rating and 17th defensive rating. It wasn't like they were like a top 5 team. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, they were the 2 seed, but they were also 4 games from being the 8 seed. So
that was the thing with the West in general.
It was pretty
this
mixed.
year.
Yeah, it wasn't like being the 2 seed was sort of like a false flag for that team. But I agree with you. Like that Lakers team. To me, that's the patience thing. But I said from the start when the T-Wolves made that trade, I was like, why are they messing up? They had such good chemistry with Karl Anthony Towns, and it felt like a good thing. And the Knicks
looks great.
The Knicks had even better chemistry.
Right.
And they messed it up too. But the Knicks, it was really the Knicks have the salary issues, and they were trying to deal with things. And the Timberwolves were like, oh, well, we have this too. Let's make it. And now the T-Wolves look like they're like the best friends. They're all,
Rudy
the post-game
Gobert
press
is
conferences.
getting handshakes
when everybody
all
likes
around.
Rudy Gobert, things are in a weird place.
Somebody posted an up and down of Ant with Karl Anthony Towns smiling after a playoff win and Ant with Julius Randle smiling after a playoff win. They're like, wow, the seamlessness of this. It has been interesting, Anthony Edwards and the conversation around, like, is he the face of the league? Is he growing into the face of the league? And especially this coming off of a game where he was 0 of 11 from 3, but it doesn't seem to necessarily matter, or at least doesn't detract from the notion that he is one of the most known players. What do we got?
Huge storm coming.
Oh. I don't like this because RiverBeat is tonight, and I really don't want it to rain.
This is my issue with the cameras.
That's not the right angle. There is the most ominous. There we go. It got real ominous real quick in that back corner.
That's still not even.
I know it doesn't do it justice.
It's damn near black.
I'm supposed to play golf at
out there.
11:30.
Oh really? Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
As long as it goes through. Anyway,
If I do not get to see
who's at the RiverBeat tonight?
Missy Elliott at 10 o'clock tonight,
aren't they going to play Rain or
I
Shine?
can't stand the rain.
Come on, Missy.
My window.
Won't they do it no matter what though? Like you just got.
No, I mean if it's lightning, like I've been at RiverBeat where acts have been, they'll try to delay it or they'll try to shorten it. And I was on a walk yesterday afternoon, and Missy, I don't know if she was physically there, but they were doing her sound check there. That appropriately shows the color of the sky that just came down.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Because like it always rains. Like they call it Memphis in May, Memphis in Mud.
Yeah.
We're already trying to figure out what blanket we're going to bring down. We have one that has like the nylon on the underside. That always feels like the right option to take down there. I really want to see Missy, and I really want to see Ludacris, and I really want to see Busta Rhymes, and I want to see Steve Aoki at 5:30. I have one person in every
5:30 a.m.
p.m.
Why is he playing at 5:30
Thank you,
p.m.?
Lang. Even you know to ask that question. I do
just
not
know he
understand.
does like Vegas residencies.
Yes,
and
he's
stuff.
an instancer, and to play him at 5:30 p.m. is a bizarre way to start the festival. But whatever, I'll be there. Hopefully, it doesn't lightning out at this point.
It is getting ominous looking out there.
Okay, but with Anthony Edwards, I'm curious where your take is on this, because I don't love the face of the league conversation in general, but it is something that we do. And I did find it so interesting that following that win for the Timberwolves, like he took that lap around Crypto.com Arena in LA, and like the fans are going back and forth with him. He had the moments from the Olympics and the documentary and him like talking his ish to Obama. And you've just seen this continuation. Like, does he sit in that space for you?
No, I mean, I think the off-court stuff works against him.
I feel like people ignore it.
And also, he's gotten fined like $250,000 this year or something like that for cursing in press conferences and all that stuff. I think that keeps him from being that face of the league.
He has the winning moments.
I mean, he's never got. This is the first time he's gotten out of the first round.
No,
right?
I know, but I mean, he has the.
He was on
the lore
Olympic
building
team.
moments because he takes down Kevin Durant, and now he's taken down
but
LeBron
also, like,
and Luka, and he took down Jokic and Murray one year. Like those are the things that allow these things to take off. CJ is the ultimate ant hater.
We're giving him way too much credit. Like he's been phenomenal, jaw-droppingly spectacular in these series. When he hasn't, he is a charming young man. He is. Oh, it is dark now.
I wouldn't say he's charming. I would say he's full of charisma.
Okay, charisma then. He's a charismatic young
Charming
man.
to some people.
I don't know.
I'd ask his four baby mamas.
That's
if
what
he's
I was
charming.
He's apparently charming
but
a few people.
Either way it goes, and so people like that and have liked him coming in the league when like he was giving goofy answers about eating Popeye's fried chicken before games and stuff like that. He's an everyman type of player, but I don't think he's particularly special. That is my thing on Anthony Edwards.
He's a gamer.
Is he?
I think he's a gamer.
In a game where he
No, I
could have stepped
know.
on somebody's neck like Jalen Brunson faced, he went out there and was 0 for 11 from 3 and dropped 15 points, right? And there are too many of those types of performances from Anthony Edwards for me to say, oh, this is a great
That's what
basketball
I'm trying to
But
figure out because
I-
he's perceived as a gamer. And I think some of it hooks with the whole notion of like, is he Michael, obviously a joke, but is he Michael Jordan's son? And the comparisons that get made there. But for whatever reason with Anthony Edwards, people do leave out the things that detract. I mean, he does have four kids with 4 different women, and he asked a woman to get an abortion via a text message that we all saw.
He's gotten way better as a basketball player. Like, give him credit for, he's
He
improved so
grows.
much. And especially in that series, he against the Lakers, they were trying to double team him. He was making the right pass every time out of those double teams. He was really good. I'm not just saying this because he's a Georgia Bulldog either. But he's become much better as a player the last 2-3 years. Like, you see the improvement he's made. Is he at that level of a Michael Jordan, whatever, like of that guy who's going to make the basket when you need it?
He's not clutch, but not every great player has to be a clutch player.
But also like Jalen Brunson, like the argument to me that he's like so clutch and everything. Okay, he made that big shot at the end of the game, but he also never passes the ball. Like, he shoots it every time down the court. And he
but we
flops
see
every
that.
time down
We
the
see
court.
that here. Well, I will not argue with you on the floppy McFlopperson
I think they're going to
side.
get boat raced by the Celtics in this next game because you can't just have one guy dribble the ball the whole time against the Celtics.
They also have their starting 5 and nothing.
Yeah.
Deuce McBride has done nothing.
Yeah.
And they're Mitchell Robinson is no
My
longer a
favorite
part
thing
of
watching
anything.
the Knicks is when Brunson does pass the ball. If
Yeah.
he throws it to Josh Hart, he throws it right back to Brunson and like resets it. But if he throws it to anybody else, those guys shoot it as soon as they can because they know it's the only time they're going to get their hands on the ball. Karl-Anthony Towns, I think, had 10 field goals and 11 free throws in the last 2 games. Like those guys aren't getting touches. So like,
But I do think
I don't think it's sustainable.
We create, again, like when you see something with your own eyes, when you have Jalen Brunson win NBA Clutch Player of the Year, and in the same week he makes that shot, you're like, all right. I got in a fight with some Knicks fans in the middle of the season because I was trying to fight the good fight for our dear friend John Morant and saying that he is the most underrated clutch player in the NBA because people don't see it, but we see it so often in the Call 12 moments, and then how the Call 12 celebration goes viral, just as his other celebrations.
See is the Knicks on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it really is the truth. I mean, I usually turn on Get Up every morning just because I like to make sure that I haven't missed something. Right? I know it's not by choice, but it's one of those things where it's 7 o'clock. I want to make sure there's not breaking sports news that I'm missing. I have an 8 o'clock show. It's hard for me to keep track of everything in the morning, so that's just my routine, I should say. It's so dark outside.
You should see the clouds over there.
Woo! Those are fun clouds.
Yeah.
This morning they spent like 10 minutes on the Knicks, a brief moment on Clippers Nuggets. And then they were already on to Lakers and JJ Redick and the continued fallout from that game. Like, there is a very real media bias when it comes to those teams. And so that's what I was arguing in the middle of the season. I was like, you guys don't watch many Memphis Grizzlies games, but here is
I don't know how
a variety
much they
of
do,
instances.
Because we watch every game. So I don't know how much like the Grizzlies get outside of our bubble. You know
I don't
what I
think
mean?
they do.
I think they do a little bit.
I think when you have Ja with big plays.
You know what I look at all the time is Reddit NBA's homepage.
Mm-hmm.
I check that out like every morning, just see what are the big stories. Ja's on there a lot. Like the Grizzlies make it onto there
But
a
because
lot.
of Ja.
Or highlight, whatever. Like I see the Grizzlies on there probably more than I would expect to. I did see yesterday Jason Gallagher, who directs the Old Man and the Three podcast, tweeted a screenshot of ESPN's NBA YouTube page, and every story was about the Lakers losing. And he was like, should we tell them the Timberwolves actually won the series? Because it was like eight straight things of the Lakers. It's the same with the Knicks. It's the same with all these teams. So.
No, and I will say, like, I don't want this to get twisted. This was in the middle of the season that I was saying this about Ja. You can't continue to have these conversations when he's not doing it in the postseason. Like, real narratives are built in the playoffs. And so you do have Anthony Edwards, who, despite going 0 of 11, has knocked off a hell of a lot of big names and his elders in front of him. You do have Jalen Brunson, who is coming up clutch in an not an elimination game, but in a closeout game for the Knicks, and it ultimately advancing. And like, they could go get swept by the Celtics in the next round, but he'll always have that shot that he made. Like, if you're not still playing in the playoffs, nobody really cares, and that's sad.
Like,
it's not sad. It's just true. Exactly.
That's what's going to matter. Like, and if the Knicks get knocked out in the next round, if the T-Wolves get knocked out in the next round, these conversations aren't going to continue.
Yeah.
You know, like we're just going to talk about whoever's winning. And that's what like Jay Williams was on one of those Get Up or one of those shows set up.
He really defended his buddy JJ Redick.
No, but he was talking about Jason Tatum, and it's interesting because he was like, "Why isn't Tatum in this conversation of the face of the league?" I mean, Tatum's whole like persona is built around being a great dad, you know, and he's won titles and he's won gold medals and he took a back seat on the Olympic team and did all these things, and we never talk about him as
you don't build charisma in the gym. That's my point. Like Anthony Edwards has the it factor.
I don't think Jason Tatum has much charisma.
He doesn't. Yeah, that's the problem. When it comes to face of the league stuff, you have to have a level of charisma and personality that carry you up. You have Anthony Edwards running like. Anthony Edwards,
LaMelo Ball has a lot of charisma, but we don't talk about him as the face of the league.
Yeah, but if he was winning and if he was in the sphere of it, then maybe he's having a situation. Like Anthony Edwards saying his favorite movie is Matilda this week. You're like, God, he did it again. He's likable for whatever reason. And sometimes it's an intangible thing that makes that. But when I see people get mad about the face of the league conversation, so much is built in that. Like, do you have that it factor? He has that. Then you can carry on with the conversations of if he can be that. One of the future faces of the league, you've been around basketball a lot, so I wanted to get your take on this because I was reading the Athletics Bounce newsletter, which is their NBA newsletter, and they brought up a question of, is Victor Wembanyama growing? Did you see the picture of Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs past Rookie of the Years? And he is standing next to David Robinson Tim Duncan and Stephon Castle, who removed Stephon Castle from the conversation. Robinson is 7'1". Duncan is 6'11". Victor Wembanyama is supposedly 7'3". Make it make sense.
Well, first of all, I didn't. How tall is Stephon Castle? I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4".
6'6". Split the difference.
So he's the same, but he looks like the same height as Tim Duncan in this photo.
Yeah, this photo throws off a lot. But if you also notice,
this is like a Willy Wonka photo.
But his hair brings him over the top. Like Stephon Castle looks elevated because of his hair.
He's 6'5" with the afro 6'9".
I don't know.
Shout out Fletch. I'm friends with one of the Spurs PR guys, and he posted that photo the other day, and my first response was, wow, Timmy looks so little. Because Tim Duncan's a giant person.
Yes.
Tim, he's probably bigger than David Robinson. He was kind of an undersized center. But yeah, I think they must have been
The chat is saying old people shrink. And they
That
do.
is true.
It is true. I didn't think about that.
maybe Wemby's on one of those boxes like you're on the post-game interviews.
Maybe, and they did it on purpose.
Walk-off, Will ran out there with a box.
Yeah. That was always a good time to be had.
Yeah. Do you miss it?
Anytime. Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah.
I miss the Grizzlies. I will spare people. Chris said I should go all in on it, but I started making up a song last night to the tune of Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid of just like, I want to be where the playoffs are.
I was thinking
and
we
I'm
should,
really upset that we're out.
I was actually in my car this morning. The shuffle thing was on, and then When Harry Met Sally soundtrack came on.
Okay.
And it made me think about you because I was driving here to do the show.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is all it's basically like show tunes, right? And
Yeah.
Jessica loves Broadway music and show tunes.
Yes.
And it made me think we should do a musical number on here.
I mean,
you can play the piano, right?
Yeah.
I can play guitar or
Okay.
drums or other things.
The Summer Grand City Media Musical.
We should at least, maybe not a whole 90-minute episode, but a song, something.
Yeah. There's someone on TikTok who's been turning playoff results into like musical numbers where they take songs from musicals and then rewrite the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
We
But
could
then
do
I
that.
thought, that's a lot of work.
No, it's not.
That's a lot of
Just
work. But we
rewrite
have nothing but time now.
I know, yeah.
We got nothing but
what
time.
else are you doing? Napping?
Last but not least, your favorite series so far and the series you are most looking forward to if it pans out.
It
for the
was
next
Knicks
round.
Pistons. I was enjoying that. Now I'm locked into Rockets Warriors. I thought that game was last night, and I was so excited. And then it was
unfortunately, it's
Nuggets
tonight.
Clippers.
You don't like the Nuggets Clippers series?
I don't like
Why?
that series because it's
Nikola Jokic says you don't like good basketball.
There's too much. There's too much like around the edges. Like it's not like get to the rim, get your shot off. It's Jokic who's amazing to watch, but then the Clippers are just sort of like let's get it to James Harden. Let's just have a bunch of tall guys play defense. There's nothing about that series to me that's like compelling.
Oh, it's a chess match.
But between who? David Adelman?
No, player coach Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, like I don't
The
know.
Clippers.
It's just kind of like let's get this thing over
I love
with.
watching Kawhi back
We get a
at
game
it.
7 out of it, which is cool.
But I will say, watching that series, all I can think about, because it feels like in spurts, both of those teams are running out of gas, and then the other team takes advantage of just having a little more edge than the other. And all I can think about is they have to go play an Oklahoma City Thunder team that has just been sitting twiddling its
48
thumbs since
hours
last
off.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Like they've just been
Although
waiting.
I was thinking it might work in their favor, like
Because they're
the Thunder's
fresh.
going to be like they out of rhythm, and
I won't get caught doing that again. That's what I thought going
Yeah.
into the game one, as
Happened
the
to us,
Thunder
yeah.
didn't have to play during the play-in, and I was like, oh well, at least the Grizzlies are in rhythm, and then they lost by 51 points. So
I also the Warriors Rockets series is fun because it's always fun to root against the Warriors, and it's also I was thinking about last night, like just watching Draymond like try to toe this line between being a physical enforcer and not get technical fouls.
We're gonna see it from
is fun
Dylan
to
tonight
watch.
too.
Oh yeah.
There's a very real world where after he says, which everybody knows this is what happens. You go after injuries in the NBA.
Sure.
That's not a secret. You usually don't say it into a microphone afterwards, and Dylan did. And now Steph with
But the
his
way he
thumb.
said it was weird. He was like, if I have an ankle injury, I'm going after it.
Yeah, but
And I
we
don't
knew
know
what
if
he meant.
Yeah.
We knew what he meant.
I don't know. But it's
All
also
right.
ankle injuries are different. Like, it's what he's saying is different than normal. Like, because if you have an ankle injury, that means you drive on the guy,
Yes.
right? Or you try to take advantage physically. Not that you swat at the guy's ankle with your hand.
I was going to say, with a thumb
which is-
injury, you're literally
Yeah.
trying to grab the thumb
It's
and
not
cause
like you're
any
trying to
level of
kick the guy in
discomfort.
the
But it's
ankle.
the same sentiment.
It's not really. It's
From
a
the
little
heart. It
different.
comes from the same place in the heart.
It's not pro wrestling.
That's true.
So.
All right. I hope you
heard
get to play
thunder.
golf, but I just heard some thunder.
I
So
might end up at the driving range.
you might not. We will catch up with you next week. We'll take a break here, come back, finish up the NBA discussion. Plus, the Kentucky Derby is this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you which horses
Dookie.
you should be interested in coming up after a quick break.
I got Dookie.
There is not a horse named Dookie.
Win, play, show, Dookie.
No.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger buzzer beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in. I give you permission to wear number 1.
Oh, wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting a NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think
do?
you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick 6 on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify. What are we doing here? You got me missing the daggone music cue, Jacob. Goodness. I'm absolutely I stand on that 10 toes all the way down. I stand on the dudes in the list who I say are better than Anthony Edwards. Get out of here. Y'all love this man for doing what? My God, being funny? Because his favorite movie character is Matilda? Because he's out here getting it in raw? Like, why do y'all like this dude so damn much? Damn.
I just took in what you just said, and to have
it was true.
To have the Raw and Matilda in the same sentence was just, it was a lot.
Do you hear the rumbling?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a
real
the
storm.
clouds looked real tornado-ish.
It really should be studied how every time there is a music festival in May in this city, the weather is like, I'm on it. It's time for. It's been nice. It's been, dare I say, too hot. I was thinking to myself, if RiverBeat was last week, it would have been miserable because it was like 85 degrees. And now I'm like, I would do anything for 85 degrees and not the chance of thunder rumbling and lightning and rain all day. Disappointing. We have agreed that to carry over from the too many people are dubbed dogs. We also dub too many people elite. There is elite potential. There are layers to this. This summer, we should work on an official categorization of all the players in the league. And one of them being, is a player elite? Who we consider elite? But then I think the subcategory of that is elite potential. And I would put Anthony Edwards in the elite potential grouping. Would you, CJ? You are enthralled by whatever you were saying in the chat right now.
Yes, I am. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly about that. Yeah, we do got to define some stuff. Hold on, somebody's asking me a question about something very, very important. So you got it. I'm gonna go find it.
Okay, the Kentucky Derby is this weekend. Did not even realize that the Derby was this weekend. We're picking a horse. You want to know who the favorite is? Journalism. Big, important year for journalism. So naturally, the horse named Journalism is the favorite. I did my 10 minutes of Kentucky Derby research this morning and found out that Bob Baffert is back. Do you know who Bob Baffert is? Yeah. Bob Baffert is the guy who was suspended for 3 years. This is his return to the Derby after his suspension because he used a banned substance on a winning horse. That horse was Medina Spirit. That horse won the Kentucky Derby, and then that horse died of a heart attack later that year, was stripped of its win. It turned out that he gave him the substance. It might have led to the horse's untimely death. Bob Baffert has had 75 horses die since the year 2000. He's 72. He sees himself as a scapegoat for a larger, not issue per se, but just a part of the horse racing sport. But he will be back. He was supposed to have 2 horses this year. One of them has already withdrawn. So he only has 1 horse, and that is Citizen Bowl with 20-1 odds in this year's Kentucky Derby and the number 1 post position. Do you have a horse that you are riding with?
Burnham Square. Okay. Burnham Square. Last race out was the Bluegrass. He won the Bluegrass, and the winner of the Bluegrass has gone on to win the Kentucky Derby 23 times. Also, Burnham, whatever his name is. What is it? Burnham, what is it? Square.
Bob Baffert?
Burnham Square.
Oh, Burnham, your horse. I'm
My
sorry.
horse, yes.
I'm so sorry.
Also, Burnham Square.
Burnham Square
has experience racing on this track, raced on it when he was younger and had some success. So it won't be foreign to him. I also like the fact that there's going to be some moisture. There's going to be, it looks like thunderstorms before the race. There's like a 50% chance of thunderstorms before the race.
Okay.
At like 8 and then again at 2. So things to keep an eye on, as that's going to create a softer surface for the horses to run on. I think Burnham Square can attack that softness in a really good way. And when horses are real skittish, horses are creatures of habit, like all of us are. It's one thing to have dust flying back into your face. There are some horses here who prefer to race in the back and then boom, make that push late. It's one thing for the horse to be accustomed to the dust hitting them in the face. It's something else entirely for it to be mud flinging about. And I think that will slow down some of those horses who like to start in the back and then flow to the front. So give me Burnham Square. And then on my trifecta, give me Burnham Square, Journalism, Sovereignty, and American Promise.
Okay. Sovereignty and American Promise. It's a hell of a name structure. Pledge allegiance to the flag. I like Chunk of Gold. 1, because I like the name Chunk. 2, I have learned that, what?
I thought you hated the name, the
I
word
like it for
chunk.
animals.
Okay.
Chunk of Gold.
Babies?
It's a chunky baby. It's a chunky kitty.
Okay, so at what age can we stop referring to people as chunky?
3.
3, you're no longer so.
I think if you're calling a 4-year-old girl chunky, you are potentially damaging her self-esteem for the rest of her life.
Gotcha.
But 3, I think it's fine.
3 is fine.
Like, oh, that's a chunk. That's a unit. Like a boy chunky baby is a unit and a girl chunky baby is a chunk. I can't explain it. I don't make the rules. This is just how it works. Chunk of Gold, a good underdog horse story. He was purchased for just $2,500. And if you know in the horse world, these horses are generally very, very expensive. So $2,500 is a steal, a real rags to riches story, if you will. He finished 2nd in the Louisiana Derby, worked with trainer Ethan West, who was only 32 years old. And there are a ton of like really old trainers. This is the year of the old trainer. There's multiple trainers in their 70s. And so this young up and comer on Chunk of Gold is there. And then I do want to say, I learned something new about the horse racing world, and that is that Japan has become a significant player in horse racing. And ever since 2017, they call it a Japan Road to the Kentucky Derby was established, where they are having horses shipped in for the race. And those horses have improved every year. Last year, a Japanese horse, Forever Young, came in third, and it was less than a length behind the horse that finished right in front. There are 2 Japanese contenders this year. One is called Admire Daytona. The other is Luxor Cafe, and I'm going with Luxor Cafe. Luxor Cafe is my pick because that horse has raced in the rain 4 times on a wet track. Has not done the, this is his North American debut, so it's uncertain how he'll handle the Churchill Downs grounds, but he does have experience on a wet track. So I like this Luxor Cafe, and as an unofficial partner of Japan on this show, thanks to Yuki Kawamura, and Yuki Kawamura is celebrating a birthday today, so happy birthday, Yuki. Saw everybody giving the Yuki birthday wishes across social media. I will take Luxor Cafe in his honor, and I will roll with that horse going into the weekend.
Just curious about the travel for the horse. Like
they had a horse last year finishing third.
Traveling from Japan is a
yeah, but what if they're
way.
in that like nice Emirates full laydown situation where they can just sleep the whole time? You know, these are rich horses.
They are.
There's a lot of money that goes into these horses.
They are pampered.
How do the horses fly?
I don't know. I've seen a horse fly.
You've seen a horse fly?
I have.
It's a bug.
Okay.
Good joke.
I've seen a house fly.
I've seen a fly.
No, I hadn't seen fly.
I've seen a cup fly. What show was that?
What?
Where she's like, I'm a cup fly, and like puts the 2 cups on her eyes.
No clue what you're talking about. I've never seen an elephant fly.
I think it's Hannah Montana.
Is it Hannah Montana?
It is Hannah Montana.
All right.
I was like, oh, I think I know where that came from. Anyway, do you watch the Kentucky Derby at this point?
I watch the horses race.
Right. Do you watch the 5 seconds of the Kentucky Derby?
However long that is, that's what I don't watch them back. I might watch them backing into it, or getting into the gates and getting ready by the whole pregame and all of that.
Oh no.
I would.
Do you have any desire to go to the Kentucky Derby?
Love to go to a Kentucky Derby.
I would like to go once.
I don't think it's because if you just stand in the infield, I don't think it's super expensive to get in.
I think it's the entirety of it. Like the pre-parties. Like you have to have tickets to every layer leading up to the Kentucky Derby.
All I want to do is
I just want to be in
Churchill Downs for the horse racing on Friday and Saturday. I'm not trying to go to these parties. I don't care about parties like that. We had a whole conversation. You missed it in the office space yesterday, talking about my lack of desire to go to parties and clubs. Because
they're 2 very different things.
They're the same.
No, they are not.
What's the difference in a party and a club?
A party can be a house party in which it is a smaller environment. You don't have to pay the prices that come with clubs.
Gotcha.
You don't have to fight with the crowds that come with clubs. You don't have to try to position yourself if you want a table and the prices that come with that, or the like knowing somebody who comes with that, or as a girl like having to sidle up to somebody who has a table. At home, at like a party,
you're
with people. You're with everyone you know. Yeah, or you're with a majority of people you know. You're with a person you know.
Okay, all
You're
right.
with yourself at a house party.
Like you know somebody there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it all depends on the party. But I love a good party is a good party.
There's limited seating, so instead of fighting for a booth or fighting for a spot somewhere, you're fighting for a spot on the couch, maybe.
Fine.
So there's still that. It's still people walking around just existing, and I don't like everybody has a right to exist. I just don't want to see you past a certain time. The music is oftentimes loud. The only difference I can think of is clubs, they turn the lights off for some reason, so we dance in the dark, and at a party the lights are on. But that's the only difference. Music is still loud.
Sometimes the lights go off.
Music is still loud.
And sometimes if you get to the point where you're around just the people that you like are most comfortable with.
Yes.
Like listen, I'm
if you can do it with like
I'm
that,
biased.
I'm fine with it.
We just ended up. I didn't expect to have a house party. And what do you consider a party? How many people have to be
You
in
had
the
a
house
house
to have a
gathering.
party?
All right.
But it like turned into a house
How did it
party.
turn into a party with
because
5
we started
people?
doing a power hour. And if you're doing a power
That's
hour.
not a party. That's a
I
gathering.
I would disagree.
How many people were at your house? You?
8.
Under 15 and it's a gathering.
That's not fair.
Under 15 is a gathering.
I disagree.
That's not a party. A party has all of those
I think
things.
10.
Fine. Under
Which
10
so
is a party.
fine. Mine was still a
Yours
gathering.
is still a
But I
gathering.
think it's more of a mindset. If you have the party mindset, we had
Well,
the
everything is a party then if you have the right mentality.
We had the
What are we
original
talking
mindset
about?
of a gathering. It was supposed to be a gathering. It was here. This is legitimate. It started as a gathering, sitting on the roof, having a couple beverages, ordering pizza with friends, catching up, right? But then when it shifted back inside and the drinks kept flowing and the music gets louder and you're like, let's do a power hour, and you're cracking another beer on top of the wine, champagne, liquor that you've already had, and it's like encroaching midnight, then you're in the middle of a party. And when you're like twerking on a couch, it becomes a party. You don't twerk at a gathering. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
If you're at the right gathering, you absolutely do. All of those
I think
things
the
are
twerk
gathering
makes it the
type
party.
things. No,
I think the excess
I know the
booze
people
makes
you
it a
know.
party.
I know everybody who was there. I will text them and ask them, hey, was it a
It
party
was a
or
party.
a gathering?
It was absolutely a party.
I'm
by the
telling
end
you
of
it was a gathering.
It was absolutely
That's
a party.
not a party.
It was a party.
Under 10 people, you said it. I
You
would say
don't-
under 15.
You don't have
but
the right
said
party
10.
mindset. You don't have the. It's okay.
Jessica,
it's okay.
F
You
it.
hate parties.
F it. This
you
is
just
a party.
started the segment
This
by
is-
saying no.
This is a party. I'm twerking.
No, you
there
hate
it is.
parties.
Now it's a party.
No.
Now it's a party.
No.
It's a party.
Wrong.
Let's play some music.
Wrong.
Let's go. We're partying now.
Oh.
Now we're partying. Now it's a party. Party. Go. Go. 2 people in the party. Let's get it. Doom, doom. Anything is a party if you believe in yourself.
I actually don't disagree with that. I think we
Okay.
should consider more things parties in
Oh,
this
this is my
world.
party.
I mean, if you get the horn,
Party.
it's absolutely a party.
Anytime you hear a horn, it's a party. Let's go.
I'm just saying. Enjoy the parties in your life, CJ. You're a party hater. I don't even know why I'm having this conversation with you.
I'm twerking.
No, you're not. You're mocking. We gotta take a break. We'll come back. It is Friday. We'll do a little music Friday. We will get into what we are listening to. The Beyonce tour looks awesome. We gotta talk about Katy Perry. We really gotta talk about Katy Perry. As a show that has, I don't feel good about it, but led the charge in the illumination that Katy Perry is not what she once was. We'll get into that. We'll talk about RiverBeat, what we're most excited to see coming up this weekend here in Memphis when we come back. Thank you, CJ.
Bain drives. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead. Yeah! Jared with a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go!
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots. That
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. The price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to RiverBeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. Yes, CJ, hand in the air. Wave it like you just don't care.
Already. Yes, because it's a party.
Yeah.
Already gotten confirmation from one. It was a gathering.
Now I need to know who said it was a gathering.
Jessica, I can't reveal my sources.
It felt like a party to me.
Well,
I was also running on absolute fumes, so anything outside of sitting in this building or sitting in this studio doing the double post felt like a party to me by the time we got to the end of it on Saturday. It's going to be a party down at the river all weekend. Rain, shine, lightning, whatever. I refuse to believe in a world where we don't get everything we've been promised for RiverBeat, starting with today's lineup. And I will be there for Steve Aoki at the beginning of it. I saw Steve Aoki actually, I think, DJ'd at 8 and Sands last night down at Central Station Hotel. He had been on South, I saw multiple people saw him on South Main. He's shooting a music video. He's everywhere. He's shooting a music video with Florida Georgia Line at Silky's this afternoon, 1 o'clock. I think you can show up. If you want to live your video dreams, you can show up and be a part of that music video. I am so excited to see Missy Elliott. She has evaded me as one of my favorite artists who I've never seen live, so I cannot wait to see Missy tonight.
Another one where if it was, okay, CJ, favorite rappers all time.
Missy's on my
Missy
top 5.
is on there, somewhere top 10, I think. It's just, I Can't Stand the Rain, Minuteman, Get Your Freak On.
Pass That Dutch.
What's the,
Work It.
Hot Boys.
Hot Boy.
Oh,
All
baby,
in My
you
Grill.
got- Why you all
Hit him with the he. Yeah, I can't wait.
It's gonna be so
I
much
will
fun.
really enjoy watching Missy. Luda should be awesome. Tomorrow is The Killers, and I have heard that Saturday is the day that is closest to being sold out, just crowd-wise. The Killers drives things. I think hearing The Killers do Mr. Brightside on the river will be a spiritual experience.
That's got to be, first, it's got to close, and it's got to be dark outside on the river. It's got to be nighttime, and it's just
Their set's
illuminated.
9:30 to 11, so
I
it'll be
had
dark.
this thought when bopping across to Arkansas yesterday.
Yeah.
And
When did you bop across to Arkansas?
Jessica, I'll be bopping, baby.
No, I did too. I'm surprised we didn't run into each other.
We bop at different times.
I guess.
Would there be a way to turn a stage to the water and then have everybody in boats during the music festival? That would be dangerous in the Mississippi.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea here.
But
somewhere else.
That would be
a boat music festival.
We've seen lake concerts and people on boats at concerts before. I think that would be something incredible to be listening to the music on a boat on the Mississippi River. But that was just a thought.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool, but again,
I always think, I love, it doesn't really matter for Missy because it's going to be dark, but that stage, because there's 3 stages, and the stage that has the M bridge in the back of it, I love that, but sometimes I wish all the stages were able to turn where the river is in the back of every, and I know logistically, lights-wise, everything about it doesn't work. That's just what I want. I think last year they had a smaller stage that was on the basketball courts at the new park, and it just looked so cool. It was none of the big acts. It was just kind of the side, local acts, but it just looked cool, and so sometimes I always end up wanting to see that. But I think the Killers are supposed to be incredible live. Public Enemy is before
That's
the
Sunday.
Killers.
Oh, is
No,
that
that's
Saturday?
Saturday
Okay.
too. It's the ones I want to see Saturday are Cage the Elephant, Public Enemy, and the Killers. And then Sunday, I don't understand how Benson Boone is going to do this. Like, I know he'll fly private, but Benson Boone is the musical act on SNL this week with Quinta Brunson. And so he'll be doing that on Saturday, and then he plays at 7 o'clock in Memphis on Sunday. He flips into Memphis at 7 o'clock on Sunday. Over under the number of backflips that Benson Boone, I think he does front flips. I think he does all the flips. He's an all flip inclusive, all flips matter kind of guy.
I have no clue who that person is.
Benson Boone?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Grammys this year?
No.
Did you see any clips?
No.
I swear we talked about this. He was in that like all blue. I have thoughts. I'm a Benson Boone hater. I think it's because we share a name. My last name is his first name, and I don't. My culture is not your costume. Like my Benson last name cannot be your first name. I have thoughts. They're too big brain to share on this show. But for whatever reason, he just doesn't do it for me. I'm curious about, he performs his butt off. Like he puts on a good show. I have found myself more and more impressed when I see his live performances. And obviously he's growing. He's doing SNL and then to come and do RiverBeat on Sunday, it's like a big turnaround. Because when you do SNL, you stay out until like 10 in the morning.
Well, everybody doesn't.
Most people do.
Morgan Wallen didn't. He came back to God's country where this young man is coming.
I mean, also, Benson Boone used to be Mormon, but obviously not anymore because he'll be partying into a Sunday and then performing on a Sunday, so that would not work out.
A man is going to walk off stage like a real American right after SNL and come back to God's country.
My bad.
Like, come on. Get him to God's country. How about that?
Anderson .Paak is the headliner on Sunday, which I'm excited for, but I always hate the Sunday headliner because it's 9 to 11:30, and that's way too late for me. Last year it was Jelly Roll, and like I want to see Anderson .Paak more than I wanted to see Jelly Roll, but even with Jelly Roll, I wanted to stay and watch a handful of songs, so inevitably tired on a Monday. Galantis, and then Krewingbin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I really enjoy their music. It's super chill. They do a couple songs with Leon Bridges, which is how I first heard of them, but they're kind of on the up and up. It's a great RiverBeat. I can't wait. If you see me down on the river, come say hi. We will have a good weekend here in Memphis. Have you been following any of the Beyonce Cowboy Carter tour news?
No.
Of course you haven't.
But what is there?
It started in LA.
Great.
The set list is like 32 songs.
Okay.
She keeps bringing out all generations of the family have been there. Both of her daughters and her mom came out on stage. And to see Rumi, obviously Blue started doing the Renaissance tour with her and would come out on stage, and to see her continue to grow. And then Rumi is just adorable. And I don't know, it's just been great to see. The songs are good. There's all these not conspiracy theories. Not every theory is a conspiracy theory. There's thoughts that she's going to have a different set at every city that she goes to because it's a pretty small tour. She's not going to an excessive amount of places, and fans have noticed that on the calendar there's a different star with a different face in it for different stops on the tour and different nights in different stops on the tour, and they've decided that whatever that star is represents what the set list is going to be that night. This is what fans do. This is what they spend their time with. The other thing fans have been complaining about, I guess the pit seats, or at least like the special seats that were supposed to be the best, you can't see. Like you can't see her for large portions of the show. Imagine spending $1,800 on a Beyonce ticket. No, because there's a barrier and security, and then the stage, and because you're ground level, you have no
you can't.
elevation,
Gotcha.
and so you're just like. I saw a couple TikToks where it was, this is my view from my $1,800 Beyonce seat. And like you're watching her on the screen. I'd be furious. But I guess there's a bunch of complaints with Ticketmaster, and she did the whole dynamic pricing, which is how those seats ended up being as expensive. I just wish all artists would go against dynamic pricing in the future. I just wish someone would figure out a way to stand up to all the corporations that continue to make a lot of money on tickets, but it's fine. It's okay. It's all good. On the flip side of things, you caught that. The Beyonce tour looks great. The Katy Perry tour does not. I have seen clip after clip of Katy Perry's tour cross my timeline, and all I can ask is what is happening?
Because they're hilarious.
My favorite.
She's fighting the alien in one of them.
She's fighting a turd. She's literally coming out of a toilet. And I get it. Like, Katy Perry has always been that silly, goofy, like, oh, I'm so creative. And I used to like it. Like, it used to be kind of fun. Left Shark existed. We loved Left Shark. The beach balls, the everything. Now she's fighting a piece of poop from a toilet. There was like an HVAC system that it looked like she was fighting with lightsabers. She also looks dead inside. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pile on, and it has become this thing where everybody is turning against Katy Perry. She did not help herself when she went on the all-women Blue Origin voyage, which was just a congrats, you went to space, you're an astronaut now. But just because you're an astronaut doesn't mean that your tour is reaching a new galaxy, because I feel bad for her. Like, it's gotten to the point where, as a Katy Perry, what are you doing with your life within the last year? The hate has now gotten so bad with absolute reason. Like, when you watch those clips, you just are like, what happened to the Katy Perry that I grew up on? But now, like, people won't shut up. Like, people are making these videos where I know I've mentioned this skit before, but I doubt that you remember it. The SNL skit with the doll hands, where it's like, I'm Janice, I'm Nora, and I'm Judy.
Yeah, they did it in the 50s.
Yeah. Okay, they brought it back. They keep doing that with, like, Beyonce, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, and then Katy Perry is and I'm Judy. And she's just, like, trouncing across the stage, looking nothing like the Katy Perry that headlined a Super Bowl.
What songs are she doing on this tour?
All of them. The third one is California Girls, which previously was one of my favorite Katy Perry songs, but I feel like it's been ruined. E.T. was the one with the HVAC.
Yeah.
Those are the mains that I've seen.
So she's doing the good songs in terrible, terrible ways.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate for her.
It's not great. That's not a great strategy. I mean, I had a friend who went to the Teenage Dream Tour, which at this point was eons ago. Mm-hmm. But I remember her saying, like, that was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. So to watch your greats fall, it's a tough thing. She said she feels like she's being treated as a human piñata, was Katy Perry's words in an Instagram comment that went viral. It was a very long Instagram comment.
Is she gonna come out on stage from the ceiling dressed as a piñata?
Okay. Honestly, the old Katy Perry would do that and make a bit out of it, and it could be funny. But at this point, like, all of her goodwill is gone, so I don't even think it would go well. But old Katy Perry would do that.
Well, just another example of somebody. What have you done for me lately? Where's the bangers lately? She hadn't had the bangers. So it was cute and cuddly when she was giving us bangers.
She's married to Orlando Bloom. Like, her life is not bad.
Okay, it was cute and cuddly. We were rocking with her when she was giving us banger after banger after banger.
Yeah.
For like those, 5 years when it was just, you couldn't escape Katy Perry.
Right.
And now it's okay. She's really weird, and she hadn't given us anything great here recently. So, yeah, we're going to turn on her. Yeah. That's just the way it works. Give us better music, and we'll rock with your little turd ass. If not, like, this is going to be what it's going to be, y'all.
We haven't had a good Katy Perry single
since Dark Horse? Like 2014? Maybe 2015?
Some people liked that Daisies song in 2020, but not me.
Yeah. Nothing off of the
You
new
know my
album.
thoughts on Women's World.
Nothing off the new
That's
album.
where this all started. Yeah. My hatred of Katy Perry all goes back
That
to
music
her most
video.
recent album and Women's World and the music video that went with it. Swish Swish.
What year was that?
2017.
Okay, maybe 2017. We're almost on a decade now.
Dark Horse was also 2017.
Okay, so 2017.
And then 2013 was Unconditionally, Roar, Wide Awake, Part of Me, The One That Got Away.
Come on, banger.
And then 2011 was Last Friday Night, E.T., Firework. 2010's Teenage Dream, California
Come on, you
Girls.
stop right there.
2009 is Waking Up in Vegas, Thinking of You, Hot and Cold. 2008 is I Kissed a Girl. Straight bangers, Katie.
Bangers to
So much
2017.
built-up goodwill.
And then kind of fizzled from there. She's got to give us another banger. That's all.
I don't know if she can now.
That's all.
I don't think she could. She could put out a great piece of music, and I think people would find a way to punk it at this point.
Okay.
What are you listening to going into the weekend?
Nothing. Genevieve. I hate when artists do this, when they like, hey, I got something for you. I'm a big Genevieve fan. I enjoy Genevieve's music because I think to be a fan, you got to know everything about this person. I know nothing about her other than she makes music that I like to listen to when I'm sitting on my porch or on my patio, right?
Okay.
Like she's that type of artist for me. but she hinted at something yesterday. I was like, oh, are we getting a new Genevieve album? Turn up. I'm going to wake up to an album. She's like, no, my new single is going to drop next week. Here, click on this so you can be reminded about the new single coming out next week on wherever you listen to music. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But outside of that, nothing really.
I just saw that you sent the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I started
inductees.
listening to, I asked on Instagram for some podcasts to listen to. I'm looking for some storytelling podcasts.
Okay.
I got my news stuff down. I got my sports stuff down. Got the music stuff down. But sometimes I don't want to listen to any of those things. I just want somebody to tell me a story. And so I started DC. Hold on, let me find it. It's Batman Year One on Spotify. And it's really, really good. So if you're into the comic book stuff, you should listen to it. It's fun. It's DC High Volume is what it is called. DC High Volume : Batman. So it's year one. Jim Gordon just gets to Gotham. Bruce Wayne is figuring out how to become Batman. So it's 4 episodes, 30 minutes each episode. Easy peasy listening. I enjoyed it very, very much.
I've been listening to the Amy Poehler podcast. Which I have found very fun. She had the Giggly Squad on this week. Okay. I'm not sure it's going to hit you. That episode particularly is very like girl focused. But then Amy Poehler was also on Las Culturistas. And I just really enjoy listening to Amy Poehler, like in her musings on life. And she continues to be really funny. Before we go, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class was announced during a live broadcast of American Idol. I cannot believe American Idol is still on television. But the new inductees are Bad Company, Tom Bell, Chubby Checker, which you tried to get me to delete the flippin' twist out of my songs this year, and I saw Chubby Checker pop up on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, and I said, I get to ride with Chubby Checker because I kept that song. Yeah, don't look at me like I'm crazy. Justice for Chubby.
Because you're driving down the street like, you know what I want to hear? I want to hear the twist.
Baby. Let's do the
When's the last time you just listened you sought out the twist to listen to the twist?
Let's do the twist.
It's a great song.
Take me by my little hand and go like this. Come on.
Great song, important song. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
That him being in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean that he should be on your list.
It was the twist last summer. It was the remix.
Oh, it was the remix of the twist. That's what it was. No, you should absolutely
Let's twist again, like we did last summer.
One.
The other ones were Joe Cocker, Cyndi Lauper, Outkast, Soundgarden, the White Stripes. They will all be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on November 8th. You can watch the full ceremony. We'll remind you when November 8th comes around.
Meant to ask him about Outkast. You know, he went to high school with him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got some cool stories.
The ones who didn't make the cut this year, and that was our chat question of the day, if it's still up, which act is the biggest snub of the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Mariah Carey with 43% of the vote. Both Mariah Carey and Billy Idol, big snubs. First-time nominees. Oasis was also snubbed. Joy Division, also not in there. The Black Crowes, and Fish. But they were first-time nominees, so I would assume we'll see them in the future.
Yeah, Fish will get in.
Put Mariah Carey in.
The way
Cowards.
Mariah ran the daggum 90s, right? Like, all of the number ones in the 90s belonged to Mariah Carey.
Oh, yeah.
She ran that decade. I don't know how she doesn't get in whenever you put her on the ballot, but she'll get in. And shout out to Salt and Pepper for getting in, pioneering, like, rapping, women in rap. Glad they get in, and glad Outkast gets in too. Really, really good.
All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We will be back on Monday. We get Game 7 on Saturday. Other closeout games around the NBA as well, starting with Warriors and Rockets tonight on a Friday night. 8 o'clock Central Time for that one. Then the action on Saturday, you get Clippers and Nuggets. And then on Sunday, I believe we'll get the first game of Pacers-Cavs, if I remember the schedule correctly. So we will have a new series to talk about when we're back next Monday. We'll see you then. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye.
Song you're most excited to see perform today?
Today. Get your freak on.
All right.